Hey everyone, this is Miss Flo, and you are watching and listening to Go with the Flow, a podcast where I am free to talk about whatever I want because I own it. I get the opportunity to share my experiences as a teacher and give my opinions based on my years of being an educator, a Black woman in America, a photographer, an entrepreneur and all that good stuff. And of course, I have the opportunity to have my former students with me on the show. Today we have Ziggy and Manaya with us. Say hi to the public, y'all.
Hello, everybody. It's great to be back on the show.
Hi, don't mind me, I'm eating in the dining hall. Don't mind the noise.
Yeah, so I adjusted the time because last episode or in the last like few episodes I've been streaming at 10:30 p.m. and me being an educator and working all day and then having to do later at night, it just wasn't working. I was yawning and I don't want tired energy, an oxymoron there, to be in the show. I want to make sure that I am fully present and here for y'all as y'all are here for me. All right. So just a couple of reminders. Don't forget to speak in the chat. I want to hear from you all. I want to know your opinions about all the topics that we are talking about today. And today's episode is going to be really juicy, really engaging. So I want to make sure that I hear from y'all. If you are watching, also make sure that you share this stream with your friends, your family. Let's get as many people involved as possible. All right, just to help our small publication be bigger. All right. This has been a pretty busy week. It is the end of quarter three, and we're entering quarter four, finalizing grades, working with students to make sure that their grades are up. Um, y'all remember what it was like back in those days where you had to kind of negotiate with your teacher, plead with your grades. Great times. Great times. All right. For y'all are in your second semester of college. How you guys holding up?
I'm kind of struggling in one of my classes right now, and my mentor is kind of on my back about it because she wants me to keep up my grades and stuff like that. So I'm on the struggle bus for real. But as far as my other classes, I'm doing quite well, and so the only thing that's dragging me down is it's a religions course,
Ooh.
and I'm not real versed.
Okay, I kind of struggled in my religious course as well, back in the day, but it was because like the professor would spend most of his time talking about himself and his traumatic experience as opposed to actually teaching the content. It would be like it's insanely hard to get an A in his class. You would have to write like endless, and you would still end up getting a B. It was very weird. I was just like, how is your life so hopeless and you're teaching a religion class?
That
So I was like, there's the irony in that for sure.
is
But
bleak.
it's very bleak. It was very bleak, and it just led for me to tell a story. All right, before we dive into today's content, I want to. Oh, it's on this hand. I gotta remember like which hand this is on. My henna is on. If you can see it, and definitely be showing it off because I paid $20 for it. I got this henna at the Ward 8 Women's Symposium by this amazing henna artist, Aisha underscore henna. You can book the doll. She's available for parties. She even has a shop out in Merlin. So if you go out, hold on, let me tap her IG so that y'all can see um some of her work and her studio. Her Well, this is her Instagram right here, so you can DM her if you have any inquiries. She works within the DMV, so please book her. She's just an overall amazing person. She's still working through Ramadan. She's Muslim, so if you don't know what Ramadan is, it's like basically Muslims don't eat while the sun is up. They gotta wait till sundown. They can't drink water either. Um, and I asked her, what is that experience like? Why is that? And it was basically like kind of a humbling experience to just kind of reflect and keep in mind like there's people that don't eat throughout the day or don't have access to meals, and it's like they give like in the form of charity. So it was really dope speaking with her. Again, this is like towards the end of Women's History Month. This is a great opportunity to support a woman-owned business. She worked that women's symposium and just gave some amazing work. And she used some great pace because usually with other henna, it fades within like a couple of days. Like I got it last Saturday and it's still going strong. Almost want
It
me to
looks
get
like a real tattoo. It looks real good.
Yeah, it's really good. Like it's amazing. I freaked out a little bit because like when I was watching like washing it off, it's like the paste softened, and I thought it was going to like smudge and like really stain, but it came out very clean. So yeah, you should definitely hit her up on Instagram for sure and book her. All right. Um, we're just gonna go ahead and dive into today's stories. There's a lot going on this week. We're gonna start with good news. The good news, Trump's getting indicted. We're gonna lock him up. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Um, I think it was a week or two ago, like he announced on Twitter that he was going to get arrested, and he's been pleading with his fan base to like try to do something, trying to start another January 6th. But guess what? It was quiet. Nobody was helping him out. It was lock him up all day. And he's finally been indicted. He is the first US president in history to be indicted. And this is all over because he tried to give hush money to a porn star, Stormy Daniels. And she's been fighting this battle for some years now. Like, even when he first was running for president. And it's nice to see that something is actually being done. How do you guys feel about this news? Where were you when you heard that he was being indicted?
Well, I remember exactly where I was. I was sitting in my bedroom, reading a news article, and I just saw it, and I was like, finally, because what he has done, like, he deserves to be in jail. Like the crimes he has committed, like the January 6th incident is just too much. I was surprised that they didn't arrest him. Like nobody arrested him for inciting it because he was at he had a podium, right?
At a
Like,
podium, he's been saying he had Twitter. That's why he was originally banned off Twitter,
mm.
because of those inflammatory remarks, his failure to concede, all of that. And then of course, more recently, the FBI, his place was raided for taking home important documents. It's a very law he created to try to, stick it to Hillary Clinton, and then he gets caught
I,
up.
with the hashtag lock her up, I know she's laughing now. I know
Like,
it.
he deserves all of this karma. He should finally be arrested. Y'all that is like watching, like, where were you when you heard the news? Do you feel that he will actually be arrested and sentenced? Because that's my biggest thing. Like, you could be charged all day, you could be arrested, and then something happens where justice doesn't always follow through. So, like, this is a good step forward, in my opinion, that, just to show that nobody's really above the law. No matter how rich you are, no matter how powerful or what other accolades that you may have, but still can't help but notice the privilege. Like, he was able to announce that he was going to get arrested. He was going to, you know what I mean? Like, if he's a indicted, like, why is he being locked up on site? You know what I mean? So it's just, you can still see the different, there's like two different justice systems in America, for sure. Um, but I'm this is still good news. I'm still going to like take it as a victory, and hopefully there'll be more charges on top of this because I don't. It's not enough for him to be indicted for hush money. He needs to be held accountable for all of his wrongdoings. So fingers crossed, like we see something in the near future for sure.
Can I be honest?
What are you thinking?
I had no, I had no idea what indicted mean at first until it kept popping up on my TikTok, and it was just people cheering about Trump being arrested, and I was like, oh, that's what that means.
I mean, that's fair because it's like we don't really hear indicted like that. It's like arrested, charged. You know what I mean? Because for everybody else, there's like immediate action taken. But for other people, wealthy, white, and powerful, this is like you can see an entirely different process. So, that's fair. Speaking of the justice system, it is the last couple of like topics that we're gonna like talk about is you're truly seeing the failure in our justice system, and we're gonna start with like the FBI. Um, in the last couple of weeks, we have been hearing about like how the FBI has infiltrated the Black Lives Matter movement up in Colorado Springs, Colorado. There was this pink-haired lady claiming that she was a sex worker and that she wanted to be part of the movement, join the cause. And this whole time, she's been an informant. She has been trying to incite and try to encourage um, the Black Lives Matter chapter in Colorado Springs to commit acts of violence, buy guns, like really trying to get them caught up. And here's the kicker: the FBI has been paying her $20,000, 20
That's a lot
grand.
of money to snitch. That is a lot of money to snitch.
They sent a mole, and they're also paid.
Yes,
20K?
20K. Like I just heard from
Yeah.
Democracy Now. There's reported like $20,000.
But let me say this. Let me say this, Flo. I just believe that they are so wrapped up in their own delusion of racism that they're not really focusing on the real domestic terrorist groups in America. The KKK is still active in America. No one's infiltrating them, or we haven't heard any news of them infiltrating them to stop them. They're very proactive with their stuff, so they're known in certain countries. I mean, not countries, in certain states. So it's like, why are we so focused on a peaceful protest trying to get them to be violent or be viewed as violent so you can have a reason to arrest them? Like, what's your real reason for doing that?
because they're
There's
trying
no
they're trying to
some sort of mole.
I know the reason. Like,
yeah.
we know the reason.
I mean, they're just trying to build this narrative like Black Lives Matter is a terrorist group. And, we've seen this before with the Black Panthers and with Fred Hampton. If you guys
Yeah,
haven't seen it, please watch Judas and the Messiah and the Black Messiah. It was really, really good.
really
Um,
heart wrenching. Really heart wrenching scene. Very graphic. So if you do not like black trauma movies, I do not recommend. Watch at your own will. I'll say that.
or you may have to like pace it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because it's
because
very
I
it's
bawled.
heavy.
I was in my dorm room bawling when I saw that scene. Watched that
Yeah,
movie.
yeah. And Lakeith like even had to. I think he had to go to therapy after doing that role. Lakeith
Yeah,
Steinfeld.
he
Because
was a snitch, right?
yeah, he played the informant,
Okay.
and you know, we keep seeing history repeat itself, and it's just disheartening to see the FBI trying to incite this narrative that Black Lives Matter is a dangerous group
Violent
when they mostly just be just marching and bringing awareness to
injustice
to
against Black people in America.
right, and it's just heart-wrenching um to really still see this because a lot of people say like racism is over. There's no need to keep bringing up the past. It's not in the
Yeah.
past. It's in the present. It's happening now.
They thought that like post Obama or Obama era that racism was gonna be completely over because we had a half black president, a black president.
And it's just scary because it's like I feel like the main reason why we don't have like a prominent leader in the present similar to um MLK or Malcolm X is solely because you see how they still plotting. You see how they're still
We have these radical racist executioners out here, and no one wants to really step up and really be that martyr for real, for real. You know what I mean? No one wants to get turned into a martyr at the end of the day. And I feel
right,
like And I feel like with all that fear, like, yeah, no one's really gonna step up and try to really lead the movement, and that really sucks because I feel like with we need leaders like that to drive and bring awareness to the movement and then show a positive light and show that we can be intellectual and express ourselves and say that this stuff is we're experiencing injustice in a place where we're supposed to be living in the land of the free. You know what I mean?
right. And it's a delusion. It's an all a lie. And I just it just goes to show it's like you have to be really careful who you let in your circle because it could be
Exactly.
a whole snake. You know what I mean? And it was just like so glad that a lot of people like that chapter didn't buy in to what she was selling and just stay focused on the goal and their peaceful nonviolent strategy. Otherwise they would have, you know,
Oh, right into the trap.
right. So good for them. I'm glad that, you know, that informant has been exposed and shame on the FBI. Like we're supposed to have law enforcement and the government to protect their
Serve and
people,
protect.
but
That's supposed to be their motto, but they're not doing that.
they're only serving and protecting um not the whole country, but who they want to protect. And
Exactly.
that is just it's just gross. It's just there's no other need. Like the money that they gave that informant could easily go to better training to eliminate racial biases or to actually, you know, get the ball rolling on cases where we truly need justice like this young poor teen Sensei Reed. I don't know if you heard about this, but I've been seeing a lot on IG, and we really do need to bring more attention to this case because on October 12th, 2022, um, this poor kid was gunned down by this redneck. Uh, let me see if I can pronounce his name. Hold on, hold on. It's a lot, y'all.
I have
Um,
not heard of this.
yeah, it was in Columbus, Ohio. The 13-year-old was like shot and killed when he was like just playing around with his friends and family. Um, Craig Butler is spelled like Krieg. Butler. And the cops arrested the guy, but didn't charge him. So the family
No.
is like, what the hell?
Exactly. Be
And
like,
it's really hasn't gained any traction. Like the family is pleading for justice and for like, come on, it's like there's several eyewitnesses that could identify the shooter. Like it was clearly him. So it's like, why hasn't he been charged? It's not like he's out on bond or anything. Like he hasn't been charged. There's no set court date, none of that. Like this dude is out being free. His face is starting to be plastered everywhere, but still no moves have been made. I'm like, where is the Department of Justice in this case? Like the government FBI are so focused on the Black Lives Matter movement. Black Lives Matter hasn't done anything. People are minding their business. They're advocating for situations like this.
yes, exactly.
So I'm like, it's just so backwards. Like if you look at the picture of that little boy, like he don't look that much different from some of the students that we have at our school. So you mean to tell me that, and this is Ohio, so this is up north. You would think this is more down south type behavior, but no, this is above the southern Mason-Dixie line. And you mean to tell me that the cops let this dude go after you have eyewitnesses that have given a positive ID to the shooter, described his truck, the license plate, all that. You still let him go? Like it doesn't make sense. And then people have the nerve to still be offended when we still echo Black Lives Matter. We're not saying it
This is
because we,
so redundant. I mean, it's so dumb.
you know what I mean? Like we're not saying it to say that, oh, we're better than everybody else. We're saying it as a reminder because
Why
of
would you even interpret it as that though? Like I don't understand as to I don't as a white person, I don't know. I feel like if I was a white person, I would not interpret it as black people think their lives are better. They're literally fighting because their lives are not better than any like not their lives are not better. It's actually really bad out here for us. Especially like we are out here fighting for our lives, saying we're out here yelling it. If we have to yell it, then obviously it's not being, cared for. If we have to say it out loud, it's not like we're out here saying our lives are better than everybody else's and we're the only Black Lives Matter. That's not the case. That has never been the case. And I hate that people interpret it as that way because it just shows how ignorant people can be.
you're right, and it is beyond ignorant. Like the last conversation I had with a white person about this was like several years ago when we went to a road trip down south and we encountered this white couple. They were very sweet, very chill, very, they were asking, what brings us to, I forgot what state we were at, but it was somewhere down south. And the project that we're doing, and they got really excited. And it came up like, they didn't understand the motto, the Black Lives Matter. They were saying, all lives matter. And I think what they didn't realize is like, yeah, all lives should matter, but the reality is in certain
All lives
countries,
won't matter until Black Lives Matter.
right? And it's a true statement. It's like other minority and marginalized groups get treated differently. That's the true state of like it really depends like where you live in this world. Not
We're
just
kind
like
of
the
hated by
country,
everybody.
like right, just worldwide discrimination. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And we have to kind of echo that to kind of remind people like we matter too. Like we are the epicenter
Like you can't
of,
treat us like this.
right, the culture. We have contributed so much to society. We have to work twice and triple as hard to still get like crumbs. Not even like as much, but leftover crumbs. Like I recently saw a study saying that a white high school graduate still has way more wealth than a black college graduate. Makes sense.
That is insane.
That is so like what? Because like at my school, we really push our students to go to college because we understand, it's about like getting that earning potential and earning those qualifications that could put you at a higher tax bracket. But in the state of America today, when you see what the FBI is doing, you see in certain states, like if you are killed or assaulted, you will not receive the same amount or may not receive any justice. And that's scary because we also push our scholars to go to different states. But I'm just like, we need to have, I need to do some research to see if we have an updated green book because we still have sundown towns. 'Cause I saw that
Mm.
online because like if you don't know what a sundown town is, it's basically like third minority groups cannot be out and about in certain towns. Like
That
that
is dark.
mentality still exists in 2023.
Which is insane.
Because I'm
And this is
like,
why I laugh when people say that we're in a post-racial society because we are far from it, baby.
miles from it, like you would think, like, are we ever going to make it to the mountaintop? At this point,
I
because
think when racism is deeply rooted in a society and it's the foundation of a society, it's gonna be hard to like completely scrap it away. You know what I'm saying?
Rip out those leaves.
Yeah.
Every.
it's like it's so like I'm glad that I'm fortunate to live in a very liberal city because like everybody, some people say like, why do you ever want to move to any other place in America? And to be honest, no. You know what I mean? Like, as a black woman in America, I need to be in a liberal city, and that is DC. Like, I know there's some patches of, um, liberal cities out there, but I'm just like, I haven't really encountered like overt racism, maybe like some microaggression, but never felt like, oh, I will be killed solely because of my race. You know what I mean? Here in DC. You never know because, we've had some incidents that, has caught our eye for sure. But like everywhere else in America, I don't feel I would be as safe as I am in here, if that makes sense. But what do y'all think? Do y'all feel safe in DC? Do you feel like, you know, you would be encounter some racism or discrimination in our city? Are there other places that you feel that are safer? You could put it in
Um,
the chat for.
I just think that DC is because it's even though I live in a predominantly black neighborhood, so I'm not getting hate crime for being black by another black person, likely.
I just love how like the police sirens are going off in the background as you're trying to make your point.
Yeah, over policing our neighborhoods, baby. You know what I'm saying? It's not likely that I'm gonna get hate crime by another black person for being black. So I've never had to experience racism in DC or any hate crimes, any of that. Like I've never feared I was gonna be attacked because of my race. When I stepped outside of DC and decided to go to Oswego, New York, that was a whole different story because it's a predominantly white area and it's very Republican, so it's a red state. I wasn't very comfortable there, and You know, you see the Trump 2024 flags and the Trump 2020 flags, and you're just feeling like I just felt so out of place, and I actually feared for like I thought I was gonna get hate crime if they hadn't because they had actually people's like dressing up as the KKK and running around campus.
That's right. You did tell me about that.
Yeah, it was a whole story.
Remember when they had I think they rated a live that was happening, and they were saying
Oh
Jewish
yeah, they
slurs
were
and they
saying
like
the N word. They were saying the N word in a chat, in a Zoom chat that we were in for our dorm room meeting
out of nowhere.
out of nowhere.
This white kid saying it?
We don't know. It was like a person, like it was anonymous. They joined. They Zoom bombed us,
Lord.
just spamming the N word, calling the teacher the F slur, and lover, all that.
Mm. Not they using 21st century technology for hate crimes. It is. See, the country is evolving in the wrong direction. Oh
Mm.
my God. But there, okay, so let's move on to some. It's not exactly better news. It's kind of complicated. It's good that Cheryl Lee Ralph, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly because you know that I will butcher names. She recently spoke out against being a victim of sexual assault when she was on, this TV network by a famous TV judge. Oh my God. If you don't know who Cheryl Lee Ralph is, she has recently won like several awards for Best Supporting Actress in Abbott Elementary. Some of you may remember her from being the Mama Moesha. She's been in the game for some years. Or you may remember her as the mean mom on Sister Act 2, Lauren Hill's mother. Just some references there. But like I said, she's been in the game forever. A tremendous actress, amazing singer. She tore up at the Super Bowl singing the Black National Anthem, giving us the zhuzh that we all need. Great moments. Like she has been winning this season, this year. Great things are happening for her, and she was able to finally speak out about her sexual assault and how this gross TV judge basically grabbed her by her neck and stuck his nasty tongue down her mouth with everybody watching. Like everybody that was on set saw this happen. It's not like back alley thing or in the dressing room. Like this was visible to the public. She was about to like she called, I think she had connects to the mayor or like, some higher up and was about to like, get the police on him. But then you had somebody that said to her is like that talked her out of it. Basically saying, was it really that bad and da 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 da. Kind of gaslighting her a little bit and to really keep her quiet. So, she cleared up. It wasn't Judge Mathis. She shut that down. It wasn't him. But another judge decided to say something and is trying to sue for defamation. But like she didn't say the person's name. She didn't say the name.
So
And
he basically outed himself.
he basically, yeah, he did. It was Judge Joe Brown
Oh
came out and
gosh,
saying that he was going to file a defamation lawsuit. So you dumb. He mad dumb.
he's
I'm
mad
pretty,
dumb for that.
Like,
pretty, I'm pretty
bro,
sure at the time was this. I need to double check if she said was this during the time of Moesha, because like you said back then when UPN existed, and I know like he was probably the judge at the time. I would probably have to do some cross references um to see, but I'm pretty sure like we have internet sleuths that could probably figure it out. Because I don't think we have too many black TV judges, to my knowledge. I don't think. But I'm really glad that she spoke out about this, and she was very frank. Like she wasn't. It wasn't like she was dressed provocatively, and I'm glad that she brought this in a conversation. Like she was, dressed appropriately for work, and then this still happened. Because a lot of people will go and say like, "Oh, what were you wearing?" You were basically victim blaming, and
Which
she shut
is
down.
stupid.
Right. She shut it all down and just was like, it doesn't really matter like how you present yourself or what you were doing at the time. Like these type of things happen all the time, and this was like in public, like in front of other people. So people have to like to keep that in mind. Like this is, ooh, I'm glad she's speaking about it. I'm glad that Judge Joe Brown threw himself under the bus and was like at least like not to justify it, but like seeing as a different time, different culture where this type of behavior may have been considered more acceptable back then, and then now that we're bringing more awareness to the problem, like he could at least apologize or try to make amends. But he's not doing that. He's not, you know, doing that. He's just being the asshole and just, you know, not taking accountability for his past actions. If this is, well, I mean, he told on himself. I'm still gonna say alleged because I don't, because you know how people be. So
It's
he
gonna
may
be
have,
like say alleged every four
yeah,
times.
yeah, but he basically like set himself up because like nobody was really thinking about him. I think people were more focused on like her speaking about it and to the problem like why like victims don't speak about it sooner because basically you had people gaslighting her and saying it wasn't such a big deal when it was, when it clearly was. So I'm just like, Jesus Christ. So I'm glad she's speaking about it now, and hopefully this will encourage victims of sexual assault and rape to really speak up so that we can hold these dirtbags accountable, whether it is with the justice system and having them arrested or just exposing them for who they are. You know, Mm, what are your hot takes on this, you guys?
I think it's really brave of her, and I know everyone says this when a victim of abuse comes out, but I really do think it's brave of Cheryl Lee Ralph to come out and confront. Well, not she didn't even tell you who it was, but tell her story of her abuse and share it so that this person could be held accountable. Even though she didn't give a name, he outed himself. So hopefully we can move forward with that and investigate into that, and gets held accountable for his crimes because that was utterly disgusting. That was just utterly just gross. Like, why would you sit there and kiss somebody that doesn't want to kiss you in front of millions of people? Stick your tongue down their throat. That is just so piggish, and
It,
it
it's
just rubs
gross.
me the wrong way. I don't vibe with that. I don't vibe with inappropriate touching and forcing somebody to do something they don't want to do. It's just not my vibe. I don't really rock with that type of stuff. So it just disgusts me for sure.
Yeah, so I'm
I'm
glad
just
that.
glad she had the confidence to speak up about it.
Yeah,
Like,
because I've seen that pattern in Hollywood. What's that girl from Charm? She was
Rose
able to bring.
McGuinness.
Yeah, and she was able to bring down. I can picture him so clearly. What was that creep's
Harvey
name?
Weinstein.
There you
Harvey,
go. It was like she said she waited until she got famous enough to like bring attention to it. And that's really sad because like I feel like if any actress encountered that so early in their career, that may discourage them for, you know, from pursuing their dream, or, may result in self-harm. But it's just like, if it feels like if you don't have a large enough platform, or if you're not famous or important enough, your voice wouldn't matter. And I think we kind of have to really change that. I mean nowadays with the Me Too movement, I feel as though it may push people, not just women, because like even Terry Crews has spoken about, you know, being sexually assaulted. And he's a big black dude, ex-football player. You know what I mean? So, um, hopefully this encourages more people to talk, more so as soon as it happens, so that we could get these creeps, out of the industry and make it a safer place for people to pursue their art form. Speaking of actors, this, you know, re this week has been really tough to hear. If you have watched my page, whether personal or the business, like that I am was a fan, is a fan. I don't really know, because Jonathan Majors was arrested for allegedly assaulting his girlfriend.
No, Lord, why?
Just like, why we can't have nothing? Do you
We can't
understand?
have anything. Like
Like,
Jonathan Majors was literally written for the girls. Like I don't understand why we have to every man or man that I don't want to say idolize, but like we like celebrity, male celebrity. Something comes out, either their past or their present, that just ruins their reputation.
I feel okay. So let me rewind, because I want to explain like why this news hit so hard. For decades in Hollywood, it has been very difficult for African Americans to be lead characters. And it was really gatekeep to really have one major actor at a time. From not Harry Belafonte. Is it Harry Belafonte?
It's Harry Belafonte.
To fast forward to like Denzel Washington, then
Then
Will Smith,
I
to
forgot Sidney Poitier.
there it is. Okay, yeah, it was Sidney Poitier. He was like really dominating Hollywood, during his era. And now major player like Michael B. Jordan, if we were still in that space of Hollywood, like old timey Hollywood, like Michael B. Jordan would probably be like the solo lead black actor that would get all the roles, right? But then you have Jonathan Majors, who has been on the rise for the past 3 years,
Crushing it, killing
like
it, doing
Lovecraft.
his thing.
Oh my God! Recently with Ant-Man and Quantumania, Creed 3. He has two big blockbusters this year.
Supposed to
Uh,
be the main villain for the next phase of MCU too. Like
I
the
knew.
main big
like
bad.
get like getting the Marvel bag is the next like huge villain. And
I
then
was supposed to
you
set him up for the next 7 years.
like his, what I mean, and just being like, the man is absolutely gorgeous. So he was getting like being on these covers of
Men's Health, Esquire. Um,
like
don't
just
ask me how I know that.
it's been all over social media. And because like, and he's on his interviews, he seems like such a sweet, genuine
Love is
guy.
a person.
You know what I mean? Like, but that's what we see on the surface. So
Yeah,
like a
you
lot of
never
times,
know. You never know.
you know what I mean? Like, we're still suffering the trauma of but like Bill Cosby. Someone that was
I was
supposed to be America's dad turned out to be this
drugging.
serial rapist.
Oh my god.
America's mysterious uncle.
And that's no alleged. He was like charged and convicted,
He's
arrested,
in
went to
jail right now.
jail. I think he got out. They let him out, and
Oh,
then
What?
it was like some technicality or something. I
what
can't remember.
What?
technicality?
He's like having a whole. He's coming back with a whole comedy tour now.
What?
What
Yeah,
is
y'all missed
going
that. Y'all missed
on?
that. Like he got out because it was like because the end of what's that comedian name? W. Kamel. Like the end of, he did a whole documentary series on Showtime, and it was like free on YouTube. I should have sent you the link because like they took it down after a while, but like I sat there and watched like all the episodes, and I was just like, it was very good because it analyzed like the significance and hold that Bill Cosby had, not just in black culture, but in like in entertainment as a whole, starting from his comedic career to was it I Spy to the
Yeah,
Bill Cosby Show to A Different World. You know what I
I mean,
mean? Like just his influence, and then to find out like he's this monster was is just devastating. You know what I mean? So when you have incidents like this with Jonathan Majors, because again, as and it sucks because like as a black community, we look to him. Okay, here is this fine black nerd who
mhm.
is on the come up, that's being very successful, like just crushing Hollywood right now. Everybody's looking to like really idolize, and then you see this happen. It's just like, whoa, like wait a minute, like you know what I mean? It's just you're grieving a loss. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. And like we said, like we don't really know the guy, so we can't really say like, "Oh, absolutely not. He would never do this." Da 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 da. Like we have to learn from incidents, like from situations like Bill Cosby, and realize like, yo, they're actors. They're able to pretend and be different people, not just on screen, but like in real life. So we don't really know how he is behind closed doors. But in recent developments, uh, his rep and his lawyer have been speaking about it and saying like he absolutely didn't do this. They have evidence to prove his innocence. There has been a text chain that he released. I recently saw it today, and I wish I had time to like be able to like cue it up and put it on screen so that y'all can see it. Let me see if I can pull it up because I messaged y'all about it.
Even if they
Um,
justify it as false, this is still gonna mess up his career.
because it's just like I'm still a little iffy about it. I'm gonna just like read some of it for y'all. So it's just like, I guess this is from his girlfriend. She's like sent, please let me know that you are okay when you get this. They assured me that you won't be charged. They said they had to arrest you as protocol when they saw the injuries on me and they knew we had a fight. That doesn't, you hear what I'm saying? Like, that don't sound like it still seemed like he did it. Like, did he cause the injuries or like,
Yeah, yeah. It
yeah,
seems
like,
like it's
I'm so
given like, did he hit you?
yeah, that's like I'm so angry that they did, and I'm sorry that you're in this position. We will make sure nothing happened about this. I told them it was my fault for trying to grab your phone. So apparently okay, just to rewind, this whole conflict, this whole incident happened because the girlfriend suspected him of cheating or getting like a message from another woman. So I can kind of believe because it was recently shown, Jonathan Majors kind of rubbernecking with the interviewer in the promotion of Creed next to Michael B. Jordan. Like as
Oh
soon
my
as she got up and like walked away after the interview, both of them just like looking.
That's crazy.
So like I believe like he probably is like
Evidence
talking to
is
other women,
evidence right now,
you
Flo.
know.
Looking,
So
it's not looking too good for Mr. Majors right now.
It's not. Let me finish the reading these the text messages, the screenshot, which it's alleged to
Okay.
be from her. We're not sure. We don't see the number. Like her name has been blocked out to protect her identity. So we don't really know the girlfriend or really confirm like what she looks like. Um, um okay, let me start. Okay, I told them it was my fault for trying to grab your phone. I only just got out of the hospital. Just call me when you're out. I love you. A few hours later, they just called again to check on me and reiterated how this was not an attack and they do not have my blessing on any charges being placed. I read the paper they gave me about strangulation and I said point blank, this did not occur and should be removed immediately. The judge is definitely going to be told this. She assured this to me. I know you have the best team and there is nothing to worry about. I just want to know that I'm doing all I can my end. That's okay. I also said to tell the judge to know that the origin of the call was to do with me collapsing and passing out on your worry as my partner due to our communication prior of care. She promised all will be relayed. Mr. Majors completely denies assaulted a woman around 11 a.m. on March 25th, 2023. Jonathan Majors called 911 out of concern of the woman's mental health. Let me see this more. The police arrived with the paramedics. Um, and this is from, I'm reading this off a comics file post. Comic file. You can follow them. The police arrived with the paramedics as standard procedure and arrested Mr. Majors due to NYPD protocol requiring arrest in certain circumstances. On the same day, only 7 and 9 hours later, the woman sent text messages to Mr. Majors admitting that she was the one who used physical force against him. She also disavowed any allegation that he had done anything to her and confirmed that Mr. Majors called 911 because of her mental condition. She mentioned it in the text message. Wait a minute. These are those messages redacting the woman's name for her privacy. Let me go back because am I missing something? Um, so wait, and sorry, I'm gonna tell you. So it's her. Okay, so she initiated by trying to grab the phone. I need to see a video. I heard that there was a video out there confirming his innocence. We're gonna need to see
That's
that
all
video.
I'm like.
Where's the
Y'all said there's a
video?
video.
They're gonna have to release the video because like I'm not 100% convinced with this
Shawty
text
sound like she's
message.
held hostage. I'm sorry, that's how the text sounds.
It sounds like a domestic violence situation. Again, this is speculation. I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying just
Yeah.
based off what I read, this sounds like somebody with like typical domestic violence victims where they're blaming themselves or feel that they like how bad were the like I'm gonna need to see photos of her injuries because like I'm thinking if he's just pushing her away to not be at the phone or grab the phone. But I mean he's a pretty big dude, like since he's been working out for Creed. So I'm like, did he push her too hard to get away from the phone? Like, was he kind of defending him? Like, there's a lot of lingering questions that I have before I can be returned to being a fan of his. Because again, like, I'm don't want to like It's a very complicated thing. You know what I mean? Like I want to see somebody like him win, but at the same time with this arrest and these allegations, like even the if the army postponed a recent ad that he was in. They
Oh,
said, we all believe innocent until proven guilty, but basically just in case, we're gonna hold off showing this ad until like all of this is cleared up. And that's the army speaking, and the army, things been going on in their bases,
gosh, they
and
got their own issues.
yeah, they're not really known for really protecting their women soldiers. More on that later, but you know what I mean? When the army basically pulling their ad because they ain't sure about you, mm,
Like with the picture thing, they're saying it was a strangulation incident. So I'm like, is there a mark
so
on her neck?
there are
Make
marks around her
this
neck. Like, if you're strangling somebody, like there's gotta be like
person that
print, like
big strangling
like
somebody?
is it like handprint or is it like with the object of the scarf? Like I need to see more details. We also seen this incident with like everybody was gaslighting Meg the Stallion and saying that she wasn't really shot, that if Tory didn't do it, da da da. We saw that for was it 1 or 2 years with that case? Just completely demolishing her while she's like still building her career and doing all of that. Like
Even when
that
he came out and said he did it,
there's a
they
whole
still
phone
didn't
call
believe.
conversation basically saying he didn't like admit it. He was kind of like, oh, I know she's never gonna forgive me for this. There were things in the conversation of that recording that insinuate that Tory Lanez did shoot Megan. You know what I mean? Um, and that was this whole thing. So I don't want to completely. And the girlfriend made it seem like she didn't press, you know, say arrest him. It was just like based on the evidence that they saw. So I'm like, we need to see a police cam? We need to see like something because like
My thing
all
is,
of
how did she pass out?
like did he like push her too hard? Did she fall and hit her head? Like there are a
This was
lot
a panic
of
attack.
right, there's just a lot of lingering questions that need to be answered before like I could just say, oh, return to being a fan or you know what I mean? Like we there's more need to be shown in this case. And a lot of people keep asking about like what's the fate of the MCU. I mean, if he's guilty, he can be recast. Let's be real. This is like he can be recast.
Movies will be pushed back, but
You know what I mean? Like there are other talented actors. I hate to say that, but it's just like maybe like take a pause and not just think so much about the fate of the MCU and things of that nature. I think we need to
to be
more
with a
so
person of
focus
color.
on the young lady that's a victim here, and it's two directions this could go. At first, a lot of people were saying like, "Oh, this woman is just trying to get back at him and just ruin his career," or it's just somebody that we thought was a nice dude really isn't. So I hate saying this, but it's like we kind of have to like wait and see before we can like make a final conclusion because the court of public opinion can be way more damaging than the court system. So I would just kind of leave it at that. I'm not saying that he did do it. I'm not saying that he didn't do it. I'm just
And I was just
saying,
say something real quick
but go ahead.
because it's like something. It's not like similar to this case, but like when you're talking about the public opinion can really like affect it. There was a YouTuber recently who was accused of a lot of things. I think it was SA. uh, rape, being transphobic, and basically it was because this person had a parasocial relationship with this person and they really wanted to be with him. So they basically outed saying all this stuff about him. And it took him a while to actually respond, but everybody was tearing him down immediately. They didn't care if he didn't say anything yet. They didn't care at all. They just attacked him, sent death threats.
Ooh.
The person who even accused him doxed his face because he never showed his face when he was making videos and stuff.
Hmm.
They doxed his face and everything. So it took him a while, but he actually came back. He made claims that debunked everything the person said. And then the person tried to come back with a fake doctor's report. But now everybody's on the other person's case, and now they're just deleting. They're not apologizing about what they did or said to the person they accused. They're just like deleting all the stuff they said. And that's it.
Lord have mercy. And that's the other thing we have to consider too. Is like people are just not respectful online whatsoever. Like people have been already making jokes about this incident, comparing him to Ezra Miller.
Oh,
Yeah, it's just
okay.
it's just kind of like have some class and taste and just kind
That's
of
my
take a
girl.
second because it's like if he didn't do it, then you know what I mean, his reputation is shattered, like future opportunities could be ruined for him, but if he did do it and then people are like, going after the girlfriend, like that isn't fair. So it's just like even though they're in the public eye, you need to give people some grace and just allow the investigation to take place. If we see like receipts, like I said, the text message receipts were just not enough for me personally. Um, they it in my opinion, it makes him a little bit more guilty. In my opinion, to see a video saying that he didn't do it. If like, come on, we see elevator footage of celebrities all the time. Where's this one? Where's the video? Release that now so that we can,
We know
move
y'all
on.
have it. We know.
Or the police body cam, something. We got like we're not seeing enough to convince like, okay, he is absolved. So we'll stay tuned on this, and if there's any updates that we talked about on next week's show. All right. So on to today's main event. The opportunity to watch a new Amazon series, Swarm. Um, to be honest, like I wasn't sure I was going to watch it because like I seen the trailer, and even if you get a chance, okay, FYI, there's gonna be some spoilers because it's like there's a lot to break down. There's a lot to talk about in this series because it's like, oh my God, I was a little bit hesitant to really watch this because like it's so obvious that this is a parody or a satirical look at Beyonce's fan base because they're literally called in the series Killer Bees, the swarm. You know what I mean? And Beyonce's fans are just the beehive, and Donald Glover produced this show. And I'm a fan of Donald Glover. I love Atlanta. I think it wasn't like your typical series about a rapper. He went into some strange and amazing places with it. That was like a social commentary of being Black in America, touched on some had a very different vision of like touching bases on things going on in the Black culture and going on in America. And I don't think a lot of people appreciated that, but like I did. And to see him produce Swarm, and I'm pretty sure he had to get the green light from Beyonce because you had Chloe Bailey in it. Um, heavy like references, like there were even when the show first comes on, they said the similarities that you see in the series is intentional. They made that very clear. So, and there was a lot of things that had paralleled with what happened in Beyonce's career. But let me just give a quick synopsis. So, this is about a young lady, Dre, who I believe she's on. I don't think they said it, but I believe she's on the autism spectrum.
Yeah, I think.
Because she's just like socially, I mean, like she seemed very intelligent, but socially is just this kind of um say
Distant.
normal, but like just not kind of like robotic in a sense.
Tone deaf. Is that what it's
Yeah, a
called?
little,
No.
somewhat. Um, but basically, like her and her friend are like hardcore. Um, the character is not called Beyonce. What is the big superstar called in this
Naja.
series?
Naja.
Naja, Naja. So big, huge fans of Naja, and like her and her best friend are like this. They were roommates. They were, you know, sisters. Because Ray was adopted, and but Chloe's character dies, and that was just something that triggered, that kind of started the catalyst of this whole thing because now she's lost such a close connection that I guess that was keeping her stable,
Grounded.
you know what I mean? And then, which is very typical of serial killers. Donald Glover definitely did his research on this. Whenever like it has to be some type of tragic major event that kind of sends a person over the edge, um, that, turns them into a monster. And we really see like the transformation for this character who is just, kind of fumbling uh through life, very codependent on her friend, and then losing her and feeling some guilt for not really being there for her. And, that just pushes her to this very bloody path. And
Don't forget the funeral scene.
oh my God, like being kicked out the funeral because like the family believes like she killed her friend. I'm just like, that was a
They did
lot.
not like her. Just like
It was a heartbreaking scene. And then she really goes into this tailspin because she has this account as the Swarm account, and she's going after people that speaks ill of Nija. You know what I mean? Because that was the main thing, like her and her friend had that connection with, was like Nige all the way. Nige is the best singer. She has like 26 Grammys and da da da. So she goes on this cross country killing spree to find these Twitter users and is just bludgeoning them to death. She's go as far as to like be a stripper and try to meet the guy that frequently visits the strip club. She somehow ends up in this cult.
bro, that caught me off guard. So I was
Yeah,
like,
that and Billie Eilish is the leader of it.
just like
It's like,
name, name. Just like what's happening?
you know what I mean? And it say it
It
was
just
very good. I mean, some of the scenes were like very hard to watch. Ziggy, I think you said your brother tapped out after the first episode. Like, what was about the first episode that he could not withstand? Ziggy, you still there? Ziggy may have stepped out. Uh, But I remember Ziggy telling me that, their brother couldn't withstand the first episode because,
I
you
think it was the
know,
second one.
it was still,
I think it was the end of the second one. They said their brother just walked out and was like, "All right, I'm done."
yeah, because Dre ended up killing her best friend's boyfriend because, you know, he was trash. He was trying to
It was
sleep
probably the
with
pie
Dre.
part. It just stuffed her mouth with pie afterward. I was like, "What?
See,
What
this
is that?"
that's part of her ritual. It seems like after every kill, she had like some food craving. So
And
it's
it's
that.
always junk food.
Yeah, I never seen her eat like a meal. It was
Mm.
either chips, cake, some dessert. Like it was wild. Like wild, wild. And Jesus Christ, like it it touched on, and then oh my God, we gotta talk about the mockumentary.
Hmm?
So in the middle of the series, we have a documentary, and most of the people thought it was real, like the serial killer is real. Because I even had to look like,
I
is
didn't
she
look it
is
up.
Dre a real person?
He
Is
did
there
that
really a
so well.
person that is killing in Beyonce's name? Donald Glover, you're an asshole. Because a lot
And
of
then
people were on social media were like, yo, she's still out there, because they were fake like, oh, they're still looking for her. Like they haven't caught her.
it's the fact that like and then at the end of that episode is him saying, "Oh yeah, I'm making a movie about like I'm making a show or whatever about toxic men." I was like, "Wait a minute, hold on, you can't do that."
To really look it up. And they was like, yeah, it's a mockumentary, it's not real. I'm just like, yo, Donald, what you doing? Because so many people were scared online. It was
And
insane.
I bet it was most of the people that was talking smack about people's favorite artists. They're like, she's still out there, huh?
Like, Jesus, this is just, oh my God.
Bro, the I don't know, the scene of with the Halsey situation was funny, and the stripper. I think there's just the strippers time period was just the most funniest part to me.
I mean, that's the other thing. Donald Glover is really good at incorporating humor in this mixed, serious, scary, trippy moments. And it's very similar. Like if you like Jordan Peele, like Jordan Peele's work, what he has done with Get Out and Nope, like you would really enjoy Donald Glover's work with Swarm. And it's very surreal because like I and you can binge watch, like each episode is like 30 minutes. It's not an hour long thing. It doesn't take long to really dive into this character. I think what was the most heart-wrenching scenes? I think it was like close to, if it wasn't the last episode, it was like maybe the second to last episode where you thought that Dre was like going to stop this. Like stop um with the killing and just kind of start fresh, start over. Dre is a lesbian and is in this relationship with like a really great girl, met the family, was truly in love and was in like a healthy, happy in relationship. All until she decided to spend thousands of dollars on Naja tickets, which her girlfriend doesn't even like Naja. The
Like your
girlfriend
sister more.
and just rips into Dre for making such a dumb decision. And then Dre kills her. Not even a swift, like, that's scene, the
Whoa.
strangulation scene was, oh my God, that was beyond heartbreaking. It was just hard to watch. And then when she's like burning the body, realizes that the Naja tickets are still in her girlfriend's pocket.
That's the main thing she's thinking about at that point. She's just like, the tickets. I'm just like, are you serious? You serious
Like,
right now?
and then can't really recover the tickets because she ain't got a phone no more. That got cut off.
Mhm.
And then kills a scalper to get tickets. Finally gets like her part of her whole journey that's a little bit comedic throughout the series is that she's trying to go, and get these see Naja again to get these tickets. And it's just like fumbling, like misses the show because of the cult. Couldn't really get the tickets, couldn't even afford them at the time, or like loses them at some point.
Or she
You
meets
know,
Nash and bites her. Just, Jesus Christ.
and then they make the joke. First of all, Donald knew what he was doing because when Beyonce got bit, people speculated it was that actress from Love and Basketball. Was it Love and Basketball? I
Yeah.
don't remember the actress name. I've seen her in a whole bunch of stuff.
I think it
It's
was like
really,
long.
and people suspected like it was her or said it was her. But why? But like there was an NDA. There was a non-disclosure agreement. Is there an expiration date on that? Is it? Because how you gonna say that in the show? The girl from Love and Basketball, like Donald, you knew what you were doing. Beyonce, you crazy. You messy. You are
That's
messy.
messy.
You're messy.
My thing is, I've watched other people like reviewing the show after I finished it, and like due to the last episode, people are like thinking like, did she kill Marissa? Is she the real reason why Marissa died? And I'm like trying to figure out how they made that connection. And they're saying like how the girlfriend ripped into her for buying tickets, even though she knows she's broke. It's the same way Marissa got dug into her when she bought tickets, even though she was broke. And like she loves the girlfriend, she loves Marissa. I'm like, how y'all making it? Stop it! I don't want to think about this.
But wait. I don't know. That doesn't make sense because Marissa and trigger warning, like Melissa was harming herself or has a history of harming herself.
That's what I was like.
And
I'm like,
like she wasn't even there, like, so just to rewind, like in the first, episode, Nigel and Melissa had a fight, um, because basically Dre left her workstation and it got vandalized, and
it was her boyfriend's fault. It was Khalid's fault.
yeah,
I don't
because
care. It
he
was
like
Khalid's
he
fault.
dragged her away to try to find a gift. Basically, her boyfriend, Melissa's boyfriend, was trying to hook up with Dre. Dre wasn't having it. She was a good friend. Dre was like a committed friend, like she's not about to do that to her. And Dre was just a piece of shit. Point
You
blank,
just said
period.
Dre was a piece of shit. You
No, no,
just
no,
said
I'm sorry. Not sorry. Dre was a good friend. It was Melissa's boyfriend that was a piece of shit.
Khalid.
There you go. And, but when she went back to it, it was vandalized. She called Melissa, told her what happened. Melissa is just like had enough, was ready to move
That's the
in with the crappy boyfriend, even after, you know, Dre is telling her everything that happened. Melissa's not hearing it and basically saying that Dre doesn't like any of her boyfriends. I'm like, girl, did you ever think that maybe you make poor choices? That maybe you're not good at selecting boyfriends. Like
Flo.
maybe they're all
Flo.
terrible. Maybe it's not her, it's you.
Flo.
Like
Her name's Marissa.
Marissa, okay, my bad. I'm bad with names. But
I'm just like,
Marissa, like, did you ever think that? Then you're
I
gonna
still
try
think Dre
to
won.
move in with him to find out that he actually is a cheater,
Yeah.
and then you have a whole mental breakdown and trying to connect with Dre when she was living her best life, going to the club, having fun, met a white dude. It wasn't Macaulay Culkin, it was his brother.
So weird. He was cute though. Weird. Weird.
It's
I didn't
it's
need to see that man fully naked.
with the
I did not.
strawberry, like pressed against the strawberry bowl. Like,
They
what
didn't need
was
to,
the reason?
they didn't need to cut down. They didn't.
Like, I
I
just,
was
like, why? There is a lot of white penises in the show.
a lot. Unnecessary
Like,
amount.
I
And
did,
titties. And
there's,
white titties.
yeah. I would just say this, when it comes to Amazon series, you know your worth as an actor if whether or not you have to get naked, like fully naked. I would say we didn't see Chloe really naked.
We see
Girl,
like
for
an
like,
insinuation of her getting hit from behind. I don't know if it was really her.
yeah. But like for every like if you were like fully naked in the show, it's like, your paycheck is probably not worth that much.
Damn.
You know, just FYI. Mm, the ending was like very confusing because I couldn't tell if this was reality or fantasy.
I figured it out. I had to watch
Because
a couple of YouTubers. But
so basically Dre, after killing the scalper and able to get tickets to finally see Naja, her and her like just hypnotized, jumps the fence at the concert to get up on stage and tries to hug Naja.
Trey,
Bodyguards stop her, but Naja is like passes the mic to Dre to start singing, and Naja like carries, not really like physically carries, but is like holding on Naja, like protecting her from the paparazzi, gets her to the limo and just like coddles Dre. Wait, so she don't get caught? She don't get arrested?
don't forget, it was Marissa's face. That was the weirdest part for me.
Okay, so I wasn't tripping because I was just like, something's off about the face. It like something like this don't seem real. This seems very like this is at her end, like her mental breakdown, and she's really getting arrested. I need to understand.
Yeah, what I think happened is like after killing her girlfriend, she was already in a bad mental state. So just going to this concert was not going to help her. But she's obsessed and stuff. Blah, blah, blah. She kills a dude. You know how that gets her after she kills someone. But then she immediately just goes. And remember the episode before it talked about how a dude run up on stage and security carried him away and detained him? And how we know that Dre, going by the name Jody, is in jail and they're holding her. And agent, is she an FBI agent? Detective, she's a detective. Is hoping they hold her until she can get there. Now we're watching the episode where we figure out what happened by Dre's
Oh,
perspective. So she's not like being hugged by Nigel, who she's seeing as Marissa for some reason in the face. She's like having a fantasy the whole time. Like she's in
but
a cop car.
okay, but in the end of the like mockumentary, they just said they're still looking for her. So it wasn't like she got detained. It's like she has somehow escaped.
Oh no, they were holding her. The episode just ended after that.
But it said at the end, where if you see or know
I
the
can't remember.
whereabouts, call da da. Look at that. I could
Probably
have
just
sworn that's
me.
what it said. So like I don't. It was very unsettling, but I think it's worth a watch.
Oh, I think it said if you
Um.
know about this person,
Hmm.
because they still don't know anything about. They just know about all the names. Keep switching up. She went by like 5 different names in the whole show.
That's crazy. That's
What's your name?
she kept
Kayla.
yeah,
Okay,
that's
Kayla.
confused me too because like she kept switching her identity. She was smart. She was getting away with it. She was like killing. Say this. There was a part where there was this conservative white um, TV personality that was speaking ill of Niger, and Dre like had her in the elevator.
I
So
want her to die.
if she
But
like, I was like, if she kills her, she's getting caught because that's a
mhm.
huge white TV personality. Like she was not about to escape. Everybody else she was killing was either black or poor. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So,
This is the way they literally cut. She was about to kill her in the elevator with another dude in there too. I'm just like, Shotty,
she was like,
right here?
right, or just like, is it a reference to the salon situation when it's like $1 million on the elevator?
Jesus Christ.
I'm just saying, it was just like there was a lot of parallels that aligned with everything that happened with Beyonce, and I think, well, one, I want to hear your theories about Swarm if you watched it in the comments because it's like up for interpretation, which I can appreciate. You know what I mean? That does not have like an ending that you can easily predict. You know what I mean? So it's just like, what are your theories in regards to how things ended for Dre? Mm. And also, like, since Beyonce had to have had to approve this, like, do you feel that she may be slighting her fans a little bit, or is she creating a general conversation about like how dangerous fandom can be?
And parasocial relationships in general.
You know, because it's like there. I mean, if you not just looking at the Beyonce situation, but there, like, if you look at what's that Beatle? John Lennon. Like, he had some crazy obsessed fan that killed him. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Or if you looked at Selena, you know, the her fan club president was embezzling, and when she confronted her, shot and killed. You know what I mean? Like there are we can appreciate our artists, you know, root for them, support them, you know what I mean? But sometimes the fandom can go a little bit too far and, you know, risk harming others or even like try to harm the artists themselves out of some dark place from love and admiration and obsession. Like that, you know, that's a real conversation that I think everybody needs to have because we know how, I mean, if you look at Nicki's fan base,
hmm.
the Barbs are no joke. They are, they will go after any, like, you know, there's similar fan bases that will do what we saw in Swarm. Maybe not as far as like being a serial killer, but you know, the internet is a very toxic place and it could encourage somebody to do harm.
Like these YouTubers fandoms who dox people just for saying something or having an opinion. You don't just
Right.
dox somebody because they don't like the person you like. Jesus.
Or based off like false accusations. Like it's very concerning. So I feel like I hope that people don't take it as like Beyonce dissing her fans, but really taking finding a way to start this conversation uh about the toxicity of the internet and fandom. Um, as we come to a close of this episode, this was a very good episode. Just a reminder that I am having a giveaway in of merch. I'm going to be coming out with merch soon. All because of Plus Ultra's Villains Ball that I will be attending. Make sure you get your tickets. Follow Plus Ultra on it's Plus Ultra Entertainment on Instagram, and they're gonna have a Villains Ball. There's a lot of other events, but this contest you have to guess the character that I will be cosplaying for the Villains Ball. You can at me at Noir Vibes DC on Instagram and Twitter. Tag me with the hashtag Villains Ball. All right, I've been dropping some clues in past episodes, so make sure you go back and listen to those to get those hints. This week's clue is that I am going to need some hair augmentation. All right,
Your bald head. Sorry.
that's more talking about hair color because my villain is a ginger. My villain is a ginger. All right.
After himself almost said blonde. I almost said a blonde. I'm thinking about another character.
Oh my God. So, if you would like the opportunity to earn some free merch, then please again tag me at Noir Vibes DC, hashtag Villains Ball. Make sure that you
Okay.
follow me on all social media platforms, including YouTube, because this episode will be posted there. All right. I'm trying to change up the
Got it.
pattern to make it better. All right.
I will DM you soon.
You can't participate. You already know who the character is, so you're disqualified.
I
You
have
can't participate.
no idea what she's talking about. You see how
You
she
hear
lies
the lie
about
in her
me?
voice? Do you hear it?
I tell nothing but truth. I
Mm-mm.
speak no lies.
No, this is if you wish to earn some merch, you have to guess. You have to be a detective. You have to go back to my previous episodes to get the clues and then try to piece it all together. The contest ends May 20th, the day of the Villains Ball. So you have some time. You can submit as many guesses as you want. It's unlimited guesses. And try to figure out the villain that I will be portraying. All right, fingers crossed that you guys get it. Again, this has been a really amazing episode. Thank you so much for watching, especially Bussy123. Thank you for popping in and joining us on this show. And I hope that more of you would come out because I really want to hear what you guys have to say and join the conversation in real time. Again, this is Miss Flo, your favorite CEO of Noir Vibes DC and the host of Go with the Flow. And remember, you can't go wrong when you go with the flow. Catch you guys next time. Bye. Say bye, Renaya.
I'm literally saying bye.
All right, we'll catch you guys next time. Bye.
Bye. They need some outro music.
And I have outro music. It's literally playing like right now. This is the outro.